Today I want to go through creation of the windshield for the T9 Automoblox vehicle. So we're just going to make the curved shell in this particular screencast. So it looks kind of like this, and the handout or instructions that I had for this involved setting up your project and then following these sets of directions, and I just want to go through that right now. So the first thing I'm going to do is confirm that my project is set to the T9 project. It is, so I'm going to create a new standard part, standard meaning non-metric. And the first thing our instructions tell us to do is to make the horizontal line here, but first I just want to go over the high-level overview. So what we're going to do is we're going to use 3-point arcs, and then we're going to dimension one of those arcs, dimension or locate the endpoints to keep them in place. And then we're going to combine 3-point arcs to eventually make a complex curved arc. We're going to make that complex curved arc by removing the dimensional constraints that we originally implemented, sort of to keep the arcs from moving around as we're working with them. We have to remove that before we add the geometrical constraint of tangency at the point of intersection of those 3 arcs, and then we can get a nice smooth figure which we can extrude and fillet. Okay, let's begin by I'm going to make that baseline, and the dimension of that is 3.04 inches, and I'm going to undo that because I made that incorrectly. So the line here, I'm going to make it parallel to or horizontal, so 3.04, enter. Okay, and there's my line, right click OK, and then I'm going to make a 3-point arc. I'm going to have the coincident constraint right at the very edge. I'm going to click here, I'm going to click roughly over here and pull out in this direction so it's concave downward, and that has a 6-inch radius as we're told. Now I'm going to do an important step, which is to constrain the endpoints or locate the endpoints. So if I click here and pull to the right, I can get the vertical dimension. That's 1 according to our plans. And if I just click those same 2 points again and pull up, I'm going to get the horizontal dimensions, and that was 2.55. Right click OK. So we're done with that arc for a minute. Now we need to add the additional arcs, and if you look at the instructions, they tell us to go in a certain order, and I'm going to do that. And the next one is to go back and make another 3-point arc coincident with the origin here, pull up in this direction here, click again, and then we want to be careful here. We want to make sure it's concave toward the right, and again this is 6-inch in radius, almost like a straight line but not quite. Okay, we've got that. And finally they tell us to make another 3-point arc, and so I come here, coincident constraint on that part, and then here I want it to be concave inward to make it look like our general feature that we're trying to make, and that has a radius of 0.4. And right click OK. Now we've got something that looks roughly like the cross section of our windshield. So if I go find that windshield again, you can see that we're making this part right here, and this kind of looks like it. It's still a little disjointed, so to speak. So what we want to do is correct that by using geometrical constraints. Here we've got dimensional constraints. Okay, so let's press F8 and you can see that we have some constraints, but we don't have any constraints associated with this point here, and we're going to add some. So what we want to do now is we want to apply the geometric constraint of tangent. So it's right up here, tangent. If you hover over it, it will show you a little video if I would install my Flash player here, which I'll have to do that. But in order to let these curves wiggle, so to speak, and change in response to these constraints I'm going to put onto them, the geometric constraints, I have to delete these dimensional constraints. And the document says, hey, take these that are circled in red and delete those guys, and then add the tangent constraint right there. So let's go ahead and do that. Just right click, delete, right click, delete, come up here, hit the tangent just to the right of the intersection, just to the left of the intersection, right click OK, and you can see that it became nice and smooth. I do these one at a time. In other words, I didn't go ahead and do this geometric constraint while this was still active. I find that Inventor can sometimes get confused if I try to do that. So I just hit F8, which shows the constraints, and you can see that it's there. I'm going to hit, I can turn it off. So I can put the constraint there, and you can see that that is constrained nicely. So everything's constrained perfectly, and now I just have to finish the sketch and extrude. I'm going to extrude inward. It tells me to go 2.55. Oops, got to choose the section, and there it is. And we can play with some of the coloring, maybe PET plastic. I think that might have been the one. And I think Autodesk, I find the colors to be extremely just too complicated, too many of them. I'm looking for something that's clear. I can't really find it, so let me just look for something that's green. And I can't find it. Green. Too many choices. Okay, we'll leave it at that. Okay, now what they want us to do is to do a shelling command. So if I want to do that, then I turn it over, and it's already sort of shelled. Let me back off on that and cancel that. So I turned it upside down, so to speak, and I've got the bottom, and I want to find out how to shell this thing. So I think I asked you to save it as Windshield1 first before shelling it, but or maybe it was after. At any rate, yeah, so we filleted and then we shelled. Okay, no problem. So let's fillet it at 0.5 and then shell, I believe it's to 0.07, let's see, 0.07, so right here, that's going to be our shelling thickness. So let's do that. So it wanted us to fillet first. Let's fillet, change that to 0.5, and we'll, yeah, there we go. There we go, and there we go. Apply, okay. So it's filleted nicely, and now I'm going to shell it to 0.07, which is 70 thousandths of an inch. 0.07 right there, and I've got my basic shell, the top part, or what in our class we called Windshield1, and it's bugging the heck out of me that we can't get this thing to be green. know many of you guys know how to do this, guys and gals. Clear. Could have sworn it was there. Let's try Inventor Material Library. Entirely to clear green. There we go. Okay, so there it is, and I'm going to end it right there. So that is how to make that first shell. And I want to go back just one more time to the general sequence of events. So we used a three-point arcs and a straight line with that to create this complex shape. So if I go to the, say, a side of it, not that side, maybe that side, let me rotate it. So that's kind of a complex shape, and you can see it's made with these arcs. And so now we know how to make really any complex curved shape we want if we know how to use these three-point arcs. We did some dimensional constraints. It might be interesting to leave those off and try to do this project and see what happens, but they helped us keep the constraints staying put, so to speak. We added a couple more arcs and we attached them together using the coincident constraint. We removed the original dimensional constraints on that first arc, and then we added the geometric constraints at the intersection of those arcs in order to smooth things out nicely, and then we extruded and filleted and shelled, and we were able to get this beautiful structure right here. Okay, in the next screencast I will talk about how to make the box which attaches to this and uses a lot of cool techniques which will allow it to fit into the passenger section.